Hi guys, I am back for another video. Just wanted to share some things in my neighborhood and wanted to see what you have in yours. So there's some things that are kind of eye-opening that are popping up all over my neighborhood, and I'm not sure that there's much awareness about these things, and I want to get y'all's opinion on this. So I'm just going to go through a few different images. And now, of course, I've already been over some of the water tower images. What are these things really? Because I don't think they're what we're told, due to them not even being associated with the waterworks. You got to contact a different number when you go up to, try to see who's actually in charge of this. It's not the waterworks. So, that's questionable. But then around in the neighboring cities, there's these huge poles going up in rural areas. These are very country road areas. You have farms all around. You have people with different acreage amounts. And there's these telephone poles that are twice the height of a normal pole. And they say that it's just the electric company and they're installing all these poles, and no, it's just improving the electrical grid. But some of these things are very disconcerting. I mean, why do they need these new poles to go above the treetops? That's one question. Then the second question is, when are they going to remove the older infrastructure of these older wooden poles that they have? Because these things are popping up everywhere, and it's incredible the amount of the glass buffers that they have. They're insulators, and I've seen these things on the ground. I'm like, wow, why do they need so many? I mean, is it seriously that much electricity that's going through these things that they need these super heavy duty insulators? And then, of course, you have average telephone poles that have the antenna on them. And then, of course, you'll see solar panels that are actually powering some of the cameras. There's just a lot that is creeping into our world that most people are not noticing. But believe me, I notice all this stuff because that's just the level of my awareness. I notice every little change in my area and then start questioning it, because there's new cameras that are going up that have had no type of disclosure of what they truly are. So, I have to question, and I want other people to start bringing this into their awareness. What is this encroaching phenomena that's coming into our world right now? Well, we need to step up and start truly, saying, like, to each municipality, where is this stuff coming from? Who is funding all of these things? Why are we seeing this stuff? And, who's behind it all? Because it's really starting to take a hold in our lives. And I just think that this is more seed planting for the future. Because what I see in a lot of these polls and things, honestly, what comes to my intuition is that this is a grid system that they're installing now for the future, and quite possibly 15-minute cities. Now, I'm speculating on a high note here, but do we truly need these types of poles? It looks exactly like cattle fence at a very high altitude, but a cattle fence nonetheless. And, who has the money to put this kind of stuff out except for the oligarchs who own all the infrastructure? Because it's literally going up everywhere, and especially since it's being seen in rural areas. And I guess these cities are selling out. I don't know, who gets the go-ahead, like who's getting paid off or whatever, who's funding this, who's getting paid off to just send this stuff out without any notice to the public and the population. We need to take the power back, literally, because it's getting serious, I think. And I question, what's the purpose for the future? Now, it could be that this is very benign, at least at this juncture, in our timeline. But to be able to add things to this in the future seems like it would be a viable thing. Some sort of capability with 5G, invisible fence, just like your dog. So these are just some of the things to think about, like what could this possibly be? I mean, we see the cell towers going up everywhere, and this whole grid system that is encompassing the earth and blanketing the earth right now. I think it's all tied to the Internet of Things and a control system that is kind of creeping up on us without any notification. Because what we've already experienced in the past is that there's these beings who wish to truly creep into our world and control us absolutely. And I believe that now that the 2020 lockdown has happened, that more people are starting to come online because of the effects from that lockdown. And I believe we're going to have more people continue to awaken on many different levels in many different areas. And, kudos to that and hurrah, but we need to really keep going with everything that we can. And just try to alert more people, get people to truly be in awareness. We actually need some sort of governing system for this technology, because right now it's like it's like the land grab, but it's with technology. So they're just throwing everything out there, and we're just oblivious to all of the capabilities that they have. And, when they talk about 15-minute cities, like, who's it going to be for? Because right now they don't control everybody, but the future obviously is going to be in that paradigm where they try to make this attempt at controlling everyone. Absolutely, because everybody's still using their credit cards, and the credit cards are slowly evolving into the biometric system. Everything has always been a slow evolution of change, and that's one thing to note. But just being aware of some of the traps that are out here, I think it's good to just be aware of it. I mean, obviously we're going into that timeline where all of our data, all of our personal data, our identification, all of that is going to be readily available for hackers, thieves, and everything else, because that is apparent already in some of the experiences that people have been having with some of the payment systems and the online frauds that are going on. We've had multiple, like, it seems like endless security breaches with all these major corporations, and there's no repercussions or ramifications from it. It's just, okay, they stole your data, so here's what you need to know. But they don't really do anything. Even the Facebook lawsuit that was supposed to be out there, I joined in for that, but I've heard nothing. It's been like crickets. So it might just be another way for them to get your information, your vital information, so that they can hack into your accounts. I don't know. They're obviously taking all of our data and loading it into one central database for anyone to have access to. Whoever has money, they can pay to have access to it, or they can hack into it and steal all your data. This is the most asinine thing that we could be doing, is thinking that by giving our identification and everything about us away, that somehow it's going to be kept safe and managed well by some entity that we've never met. And if you put anything online, guess what? It's not yours anymore. I don't know. We live in such weird times. It's hard to say what the future is going to hold, because it's getting dystopian looking already. Like, we're living 1984. And isn't it interesting that in Stranger Things, They based their storyline in 1984, which I found kind of interesting. Yeah, so, if there's some correlation to that movie and the reason why they based their storyline in 1984, very, very interesting. The book 1984 with the dystopian society that rose all around. Yeah, that's kind of where we're headed, I guess. And is it predictive programming? Could be, but these people know the timeline somehow. They have some way to be able to see into the future that we are not privy to. And these types of technologies have been spoken about in the past with the chronoscope, the chronovisor, and also the Delaware camera that could actually take photos of your own thoughts. This is the kind of technology that we will possibly be getting in the future. How long away? Who knows? Who truly knows? So, one of the things that I'm going to be reporting on is this flock safety. Now, flock safety, I did not know what the name of this was, but these poles with cameras have been popping up all around in rural areas, just out of nowhere. These cameras pop up and they're in random places. They're in my town, they're in the countryside, they're in other towns. I pass them and I see them every time I go by them. And I've seen them literally everywhere, all around in the suburbs. And this particular one was in the city of Atlanta. And it's actually off of Roswell Road in Sandy Springs. And for the first time, I saw a sign on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to go take a photo of this thing, because I've never seen a sign on one. They don't give notification of what they truly are. All the other ones that I've seen, no sign, no announcement of what it is. But here it is. It gives a notice that it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week video recording, flock safety. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a report on this one after this video, but because it'll probably be a little bit longer. And so I just wanted to put out this video to get people to truly start looking around you 360 degrees. What have you seen that's new? What is popping up in your neighborhood besides people with their own personal cameras on their cars and on their homes, out in public places? These cameras are emerging everywhere. Why? I'll tell you what my suspicion is. Based on what I see happening in the undercurrent with our law system, with the courts and all of that, I'm starting to see the evidence of courts shifting and changing, morphing back into the common law for the common man. Because I see the wave that's rising to attack it for what it is right now, which is, it's a bank. And there's a lot of people, there's an entire movement, and hundreds of thousands of people keep joining each and every day this movement to take the power back. And so they're attacking this Admiralty Maritime Court law system that has been in play for a very long time. They're attacking it and hacking at it, and they're winning. And now's the time, to truly know about this stuff, about getting into know law and the different ways of actually doing business here, and that we are not corporations, we're not legal fictions, and we're not persons, and we're not individuals. We are living beings, men and women, and there's nothing that's going to change that except for the distortion in the minds of the masses with the transgender agenda, the Planet X that they're trying to make. And that's why I took this photo of this truck, because I'm like, it's just one more little thing. It's one more little evidence of how they're using this letter X as an indicator for what Earth truly is and what they are doing in their distortion of Earth. So it's all part of their monopoly and The only problem is it's really becoming duality now, like it's becoming more polarized so that we can see both sides of the coin instead of just one side and being duped by one side. But choose your side, choose your battles, raise your awareness, and let's just keep this dialogue open. Let's keep this dialogue alive because our world is changing more quickly than you can ever imagine. It is evolving. And yes, the new world is rising right now. We're seeing the seeds being planted. So I guess I'll see you guys on the next video. It will be about this flock safety because I want to cover that a little more in depth and just keep this video a little shorter than that one, quite possibly. So we're going to reveal this stuff and share our thoughts. So I'll see you guys on the next one.